chance worth walking away right now from $377,000.
Well, is it? So if you're not following what's going on here, Anita's playing Deal or No Deal, a cultural phenomenon of a game show that swept the ratings in the 2000s due to its high prizes, tough decisions, and, well, other reasons. The premise is simple. A contestant picks one of the 26 sealed cases, which contain a prize anywhere from 1 cent to $1 million. Instead of opening it immediately, they proceed to open the unpicked cases to eliminate the rest of the prizes from the board. And every few cases opened, the banker calls. This shadowy figure talks to the host, who relays the offer to the contestant. Some cash amount in exchange for forfeiting their case and ending the game. Now the contestant must decide, deal or no deal. Let's go back to that offer. The bankers offered to Anita $377,000 for her case number 4. So, is that a good deal? Well, to find out, we need to look at the board. This offer's pretty late in the game, so there's only 4 possible amounts that can be in her case. $1, $50, $500,000, and the top prize, $1 million. So how can we use this information to help us make the best possible decision? Based on what's left on the board, how much should we expect to have in her case? Well, it turns out there's a pretty simple strategy that takes everything into account. It's called expected value. The expected value of something is just the average outcome. You can find it by adding all the possibilities multiplied by their respective probabilities. If you know what a weighted average is, that's all we're doing. Since there's a 25% chance of each prize being in her case, we find that we should expect exactly $375,012.75 inside. That's not one of the 4 possibilities. Well, remember, it doesn't really have to be. We're not looking for the exact amount that's in her case, we're simply looking for the average amount we can expect. So, if we shuffled the prizes around and played the scenario 1,000 times, Anita would, on average, win around that amount. That settles it. Because the banker offered her nearly $2,000 more than what we expect in her case, she should take the deal, right?
All the cases.
I know. I want to do one more, but I'm scared to do one more.
It's very scary.
I'll support you. Go one more. If you feel it, go for it.
Well, there's something we're missing here. See, expected value is a mathematical approach. It looks at numbers and probabilities, and not the root of human decisions, context and emotion. Remember, these are real people making real decisions that have the capacity to change their life and the lives of their loved ones. They're being pressured by large crowds of people and by their own family to make an enormous decision. It's no wonder we can't have a simple formula to decide the best strategy. It's about more than just the money. These things need to be taken into account. We need some way of considering everything, not just how much money she'll win. That goes for anything as small as her mood that morning to how much debt she has. Which choice will leave her the happiest on all counts? For that, we can look at economics. Economists realize that dollars are a very flawed way of looking at satisfaction. Who do you think would be happier to get $10,000? Bill Gates or some poor college student? Different people value dollars differently. So, instead of using money, economists look at utility. Utility is simply just how much worth something has to a person. It's basically just happiness points. Different things give you more happiness points than others. We can measure this happiness points in a made-up unit called utils and assign them to different scenarios and outcomes. It doesn't really matter how many utils something is exactly. 68, 3,432,108. It has no meaning until we start comparing them. So if we say something like a lollipop would give me 3 utils and a chocolate bar would give me 4 utils, that's all we need to determine what is preferred in every matchup of the two. So now that we know about utils and utility, how is that going to help us beat Deal or No Deal? Well, instead of using dollars for a value, we can use utils. So we get something called expected utility. Now instead of averaging dollar amounts, we could just average the total satisfaction, or utility, of all possible outcomes. Though, this is where things get tricky. It's very, very hard to measure satisfaction. Just Think about it. How many utils does a chocolate bar or lollipop give you? How about your house? How about your family? Can you even come up with a number? There are many, many problems with assigning how many utils something is to somebody. Not only might you just not know, but even if you thought you did, your opinion might change if you had the actual choice. So for now, you're just going to have to come up with the best number you can. Set amount for each scenario, factoring in the peer pressures and stresses of being a game show contestant.
And once you have that down, you're all set. Now there are plenty possibilities for why Anita said no deal, but all of them boil down to the same reason. She valued continuing more than she did taking the money. But no matter what the reasoning, we can conclude that Anita was risk-seeking.
This is the term used to describe people who, well, seek risk. In our example, Anita declined to receive $2,000 more than the expected value of her case. In other words, she's paying nearly $2,000 to have a chance at the higher prizes. Risk-averse people, however, would accept a guarantee of money even lower than the expected value. They shy away from risk and seek safety. A truly risk-averse person would, in that scenario, have taken the deal. There's one industry that takes advantage of the risk-seeking nature of people. Offering low chances at high prizes is the root of gambling. Take Illinois' 50x multiplier lottery ticket. Using its odd table, we can calculate the expected value of the ticket to be $6.29, but the ticket costs you $10. So, on average, you're going to lose $3.71 every time you buy the ticket. So if you're probably going to lose money every time you play, why do people buy lottery tickets? Well, like Anita, they put more value on the chance of getting a higher prize. Maybe irrationally, but they still do it.
And that's not always a bad thing. Remember, this is pretty normal human behavior. You take a risk every time you get in a car, go to college, start a company, or start a YouTube channel. The only question is, how much risk are you comfortable with?